Welcome to the Empower Series podcast. My name is Clifton Johnson. I want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. I am excited today because you are about to feel the heat. You're going to feel the passion of our inspiring guest today. His name is Patrick Alcorn. He is the Senior Director of the Business Outreach Center, but more importantly, he is the Program Director of the Veterans Business Outreach Center, and that is based out at the University of Texas at Arlington. He is responsible for making sure that the veterans have access to the resources necessary to start and grow their entrepreneurial pursuits. Did you know that 45% of veterans are more likely to be self-employed than other non-veterans? It's crazy, isn't it? Well, get your pens and paper ready because you're going to get a lot of resources. If you're a veteran, you want to tune into this. If you're not a veteran, you want to share this with somebody. So I want the Empower Series to bring a warm welcome to our guest today, Patrick Alcorn. Patrick, welcome to the Empower Series.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. I can hardly wait to get started.
Oh, man, we were just chatting it up, right?
Yes, indeed.
So we're going to play replay on this, right?
Okay.
So we have been talking about you being on this program or in the Empower Series for years, haven't we?
Absolutely.
And now you actually, I think it was in 2019 or 18, you were a part of the program where we were talking about the resource partners of the Small Business Administration, right? But we're going to talk specifically about the Veterans Business Outreach. I can't say
That's
business
okay.
opportunity.
Business Outreach
Outreach Center, right? Because it is a resource partner, and you were saying that it's one of the best kept secrets when you look at the resources that are available for veterans, right?
Yeah, and it's not intentional that it's a secret, right? But it is one of America's best kept secret. In fact, the U.S. Small Business Administration oftentimes have been called America's best kept secret. And it's not intentional. You have to understand the United States Small Business Administration doesn't use its budget to market itself and to create awareness to let everybody else out there know. They use us as the resource partners and the SBA administrators to get the word out about what the SBA does and the available resources to the SBA. Everyone learns and knows about the SBA in a disaster scenario. In a disaster scenario, the U.S. Small Business Administration stands alongside of FEMA, and they help everyone to get their homes and their businesses and their lives back up and going on. But until it's a national disaster, only those pockets of the U.S. know about the SBA. And the best example I can give is COVID-19. Mm-hmm. Prior to COVID-19, we had disasters in Louisiana. We had disasters in Houston, Texas. We had disasters in Mississippi and disasters all around the world. Each one all around the U.S. Each one of those municipalities, those regions of the country, they learned who the SBA was. But everybody learned who the SBA was when COVID-19 hit. When the coronavirus hit in 2019, all of a sudden everybody learned about the SBA and its emergency EIDL loan, right? It's emergency loan to get folks back up and running. Everybody learned about the payroll protection program to help small businesses hold on to their employees and get back up and running. Everybody learned because that was a disaster that impacted every single business and every single person in the U.S. But the SBA's been doing this since 1953. They were founded over 70 years ago for the sole purpose of growing the U.S. economy through small businesses.
Yeah. Well, here's what we're going to do. I know a lot of people may have heard about the SBA. Okay. But they're not familiar with the resource partners.
That's correct.
They're not familiar with SCORE, the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Development Center, I believe. Right? Or VBOC. So what we're going to do is we're going to narrow the scope, though, because we're going to talk specifically about VBOC.
Okay.
And so I want you to be able to educate us on really how the SBA works with resource partners, what VBOC is, and you yourself, we were just talking that you run that program for several states.
That's correct.
So talk to us about that. What is it? Because there's probably some veterans out there right now who don't have a clue as to what VBOC is.
Right. So the SBA the SBA is not a direct lender. The SBA doesn't provide direct technical assistance. The SBA utilizes a network of resource partners to execute its mission. Mm-hmm. And the mission of the SBA is really fourfold, right? So we call it 3 C's and a D. Okay. The 3 C's stand for counseling. C number 1 is counseling. Counseling is all the technical assistance, information, training that you would need as a small business owner to be an effective small business owner. That's the C. The second C is capital. The SBA, although it's not a lender except in the disaster scenario, the SBA has a network of lending partners. And so all the resource partners' job is to help the SBA, is to utilize the SBA's programs to distribute capital to small business so that they can start, grow, or expand. That's the second C is capital.
Mm-hmm.
And the third C is contracting. The largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world, the U.S. federal government and its agencies. There's a little more than $600 billion worth of goods and services purchased by the federal government and its agencies last year alone. If you have a product or service that is purchased by the U.S. federal government or its agencies, you should make them your customer. And the process of making the federal government and its agencies your customer is called contracting, government contracting.
Okay.
That's three C's, and then there's the D. That's the disaster scenario, which I mentioned, where the SBA stands alongside FEMA to help folks get back up and running. And in that case, the SBA is typically the actual lender, lending to homeowners and lending to businesses at low interest rates, capital to help them get their businesses up and running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's also a statistic that you shared with me, but I read one where it says 45% of business owners or veterans actually are going to go into business. They're self-employed. That's a higher percentage than people who are non-veterans.
Right.
When you look at who self-employed versus being employed, and you were saying that through the transition process, 18 months before they get out of service,
right,
there are different resources and training that they're given. One for if they want to become an employee or a trade, and one if they want to become a business owner, right? And so is that where the VBOC program is delivered, or how does that work?
Absolutely. That's our main point of entry in our primary deliverable is through the Department of Defense Transition Assistance Program. So keep in mind the Department of Defense, your relationship or our individual relationship with the Department of Defense, it starts with a recruiter bringing us into the military.
Right.
And most of the folks that are being recruited are coming directly out of high school. So they come out of high school under the tutelage and the responsibility of their parents, and then they walk into a community where Uncle Sam is now their parent. Mm-hmm. And they spend their life serving. These are typically folks that have a service mindset. They spend their life serving. And after they finish service, now they come back out to serve in a different capacity. We call it their second service.
Okay.
So they were serving in uniform, and now they're going to serve again outside the uniform. And this is for those individuals who are interested in serving as business owners. The data, and this is coming from a little older data, it was 2012 data, showed that about 200,000 people transition out of the military every year. Mm-hmm. And 25% of those that transition out say they want to be self-employed or own their own business.
Okay.
So the Department of Defense had a challenge. You had 50,000 people transitioning out of the military every year who said they want to be self-employed and own their own business. Well, that's not the wheelhouse of DOD. They don't know how to resource or train or support those folks who are wanting to be self-employed or start their own business. So they established a memorandum of understanding or some sort of legal relationship with the U.S. Small Business Administration to provide that training, to provide that information. And that information is provided through the Transition Assistance Program. This is a program where servicemen and women who are in transition 18 months prior to getting out of the military, if they're just getting out, mm-hmm. or 24 months prior to getting out of the military if they're actually retiring, okay. right? They get an extra 6 months if they're retiring because they've been in a little bit longer, right? Mm-hmm. So forth. But during that 18 to 24 month period, they have an opportunity to look at their options.
Okay.
One option is offered to them by the Department of Labor. For those who are looking to get a job, the Department of Labor has courses that will talk to them about how to write a resume and how to dress to impress and so on and so forth, and how to interview. Then there's the Department of Education. Most of your servicemen and women have some sort of GI Bill that allows them to get free education. So the Department of Education is in there talking to them about how to utilize those benefits and advance their education. And then there is the U.S. Small Business Administration. We're in there and we deliver a 2-day course on every military installation across the U.S. and some military installations outside the U.S. for those who are interested in being self-employed.
Okay.
Now, this course is a 2-day course. It's a 30,000-foot view of all the foundational information you need to make one decision and one decision only. Is self-employment right for you? That's it.
And It's okay if it's not.
It's okay if it's not, right? You're not going to come out of that 2-day course and actually have all the tools and resources that you need to get the business up and running, but you will have all of the information you need to make that decision and say, yes, self-employment is the path that I choose, or no, self-employment is not the path that I choose. You may come out of that class and say, wow, I didn't know about all of these resources, a lot of resources there. Let me tap into the resources, and then I'll decide if entrepreneurship is right for me. But it really is. It's a 30,000-foot view to look at all of the foundational information necessary. And in that 2 days, we talk to you about everything from the fact that you've worn this uniform, and while wearing this uniform, you developed a set of skills and you practiced and honed a set of skills that made you an excellent serviceman or woman. And that same set of skills will make you an excellent entrepreneur.
Yeah.
We talk about the market research that's necessary and the tools that are available to help you do a feasibility analysis and find out whether or not your business ideal is actually a business ideal. Is it a hobby, or will somebody actually pay you in exchange for your product or service? We introduce you to, to the resource partners, such as the small business development centers that are located on community college campuses and college campuses all across the nation to help you with feasibility analysis and business planning and market research and everything else of that nature. We introduce you to SCORE, used to be known as the Service Corps of Retired Executives. These are mentors all across the nation who stand side by side with you to help you get your business up and running. And these mentors are in pretty much every industry you can think about. So if you're looking for a mentor in the food service industry, we've got those. If you're looking for those in manufacturing, in any type of manufacturing, SCORE's got those mentors. If you're doing consulting, SCORE's has those mentors. And then there's the Women's Business Center. And then finally, what we're talking about today is the Veterans Business Outreach Center.
Okay.
All of the resource partners provide similar services. We all do feasibility analysis to see if your ideal is a feasible ideal worth marketing. We all help with business plans. We all can connect you to resource partners and financial institutions to get you access to capital. We all can help you with sales training, marketing training, and everything else of that, human resources training and so forth. The difference is the Veterans Business Outreach Center is mandated by Congress to provide those resources to those who've worn the uniform. Yeah. That's the difference. Our services are provided specifically for those who've worn the uniform and the military spouses who stood next to those folks that are wearing the uniform. So we work with veterans of all eras. We work with active duty members from all military branches and their spouses across the board. And we provide those resources to them. We connect them to those resources. We provide one-on-one counseling. We provide an ongoing series of webinars, ongoing series of seminars face-to-face. We pretty much, we do everything to help the SBA execute its mission of providing counseling, access to capital, and contracting opportunities.
Okay, so what's interesting that I just found this out is that the 2-day program is presented on basis.
That's correct.
So when you have a veteran who's not on base, how do they get tapped into this?
It's a great question. Well, the 2-day program is known as Boots to Business, and that program is powered through the transition assistance manager. Every military installation has somebody who's responsible for those folks that are transitioning out of the military. Most folks have access to a military installation because they have their veteran ID card. But for those folks who don't have access to a military installation or who may not be near a military installation, the exact same course, word for word, module for module, is offered off base. And that course is called the Reboot. It's the same course. Boost to Business on base, Boost to Business Reboot off base, but it's the exact same course. And you can find any of those courses at sbavets.force.com. That's the old website. It'll link to whatever the new website address is right now. I can't quite remember how to spell out the new address, so I still use the old address. And it just links there, but it's sbavets.force.com. There's a calendar down there for Boots to Business, which is the calendar of those courses happening on a military installation. And then next to it is a calendar that says Boots to Business Reboot. That's a calendar of all those courses that are offered off base. The interesting thing is that course is offered also virtually. So even on base and off base, there are virtual courses that
Okay.
individuals can take. And even at tapevents.mil, 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 our team has already gone in and recorded the course, and it's available there on demand. So somebody can literally just go to tapevents.mil, log into the course there, and they can fast forward, rewind, and take the course at their leisure. It's a great way to take the course. It's a great alternative. The best way to take the course is to take the course in person, where you can where you can interact with the facilitators, interact with other folks who are thinking like you, trying to get a business up and running and thinking about starting a business. But obviously, if all you're trying to do is check a box and get the content, you can get the content through any of our virtual courses.
Okay. And so the first course is the 2-day workshop that's in the transitional process.
That's correct.
18 months, 24 months. But the other course after that is a 6-week course.
That's
which
correct.
Is more in depth.
That's correct.
Right? So talk about those two courses.
Yeah, so the Boost to Business program, this program is powered by the U.S. Small Business Administration, and there are several components to it.
Mm-hmm.
The first component, obviously, is connecting with us while you're in transition, getting ready to get out of the military, and taking that 2-day Boost to Business course. If you decide that, yes, entrepreneurship is right for you and you want to move forward, then there's the 6-week Boost to Business Revenue Readiness course. In the 2-day course, we spend 60 to 90 minutes talking about business planning. Mm-hmm. In the 6-week course, you spend the entire 6 weeks actually working on a business plan. In the 2-day course, we spend 60 to 90 minutes talking about market research. In the 6-week course, you actually do market research. They're going to send you out to do surveys and to do interviews and to take polls and actually go and talk to your potential customers so you can validate your business and your business idea. Mm-hmm. In the 2-day course, we talk about all of the different forms of capital and access to capital. In the 6-week course, you're going to begin to put together your financial package and your financial plan so that you can walk out at the end of 6 weeks, instead of having this 1-page business model canvas that you started in the 2-day course, you walk out at the end of 6 weeks with a revenue ready business plan that you can literally go out there and begin to execute on. So that 6-week course is taught by Mississippi State. It's another one of our SBA resource partners. Mississippi State, again, at that same website, sbavets.force.com. There's a logo on there for Mississippi State for the Boost to Business Revenue Readiness course. Click on that, and the calendar of all those courses are on there. That course is recorded. It's taught through Zoom. It's taught by veterans and veteran business owners and veteran representatives. So you go and you take the course, and you're taking week 1 and week 2 and week 3, and all of a sudden you have to go TDY or you miss session 4. Mm-hmm. You can always come back and watch the recording. Right. You can pick up the phone and call the instructor, and the instructor can catch you up and so forth. And the course is there, and the course is available.
And all of this is at no cost.
Everything we do is at no cost. All of the SBA resource partner services are typically at no cost. Right. And the only reason I put the word typical in there is because we still want to make sure that the servicemen and women, in our case with the veterans, and the SBA as a whole, we want to make sure that that folks are actually serious about becoming business owners. So some of the scores and some of the resource partners might charge a nominal fee for a workshop. And that's typically you're paying for the resource for that workshop or something like that. So it can be anywhere from $15 to maybe as high as $90 or something like that. It just really depends on what resources are being distributed during that workshop. But all of the counseling, the advising, the mentoring, the connection to resources, everything else that you need, access to those resources, the tools that we use, all of that's absolutely free. And for our veteran, when we say free, we're talking about it costs you no money out of pocket.
Right.
Everything's going to cost you time and commitment.
Yeah,
right?
Which is the most precious resource.
Exactly.
Right? So here's the thing. We talked about this being one of the greatest secrets.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So there are some veterans watching right now that this is all new. They're like, what?
That's correct.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
So that being said, why is it the greatest secret?
Okay.
And how can we get it out there? Like, this is one thing we can do to get it out there, but what are you doing to really make sure that all veterans who have an idea and they don't know what to do, how they tap into this resource?
Yeah, so it's interesting, and I do want to reiterate, it's not intentional that it's one of America's best kept secret. It's just the way that the program and that the government, I guess, is structured. And, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the government, but I'm just saying that the U.S. Small Business Administration doesn't spend its budget to create awareness. It doesn't spend its budget you don't see any SBA commercials on the TV. You don't see any SBA ads or anything else of that nature, so on and so forth. The SBA has to get its words out through word of mouth and through outreach events and through things of that nature and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that after World War II, the data shows that 50% of those folks coming out of the military actually started a business. So this country was really grown and developed on the backs of those 50% of veterans coming out of World War II. They started all of these profitable business. Yeah. These were patriotic, service-minded, problem-solving individuals who left the military and said, I see a problem. I think I can solve that problem. I'm going to start a business. Oh, I see a problem. I think I can solve that problem. I'm going to start a business. But these were individuals who had great military skills and leadership skills and everything else necessary to be great entrepreneurs. They knew how to fry the chicken, but they didn't know how to be they didn't know how to own a chicken restaurant. So the SBA was founded in 1953 to help veterans start their businesses, to connect them to the training and education and access to capital. And in fact, the GI Bill at that time allowed them to use the GI Bill as startup capital, get their businesses up and running. So you can imagine the level of awareness that was in the marketplace after World War II. Everybody coming out of the military knew they had this GI Bill in their hand, and they can utilize that GI Bill to go out, get access to capital, and start a business. Employment was tough for folks coming out of the military as well. So it made sense to go start a business because it was hard to find jobs as well. Well, today, the GI Bill is not available as a source of capital, startup capital for your business. So the narrative is not out there. The noise level is not the same. So you literally have folks like me who came out of the military in 1991 and went to go buy my very first business, a gymnasium in Hollywood, California, and I had no idea about all of the SBA resources that were available. So as a result, I didn't know. Nobody counseled me and say, hey, Patrick, you need to create a Bell's team, a banker, an accountant, an insurance agent, and a lawyer, and surround yourself with these business advisors that can help you make business decisions. Nobody told me that there was such a thing as an EDC, Economic Development Corporation, where I can go down and do some research and learn about what's getting ready to happen in this part of the city, in this part of the community. Nobody told me that the SBA had programs where I could get access to capital and make it easy for me to purchase this existing gymnasium. Nobody told me that I could get in touch with an SBDC or SCORE mentor who could stand beside me and help me run this gym and get this gym rocking and rolling. That was not part of the conversation. So like most folks transitioning out of the military today, I just used what I knew. I reached in my hip pocket, used the brain power that I developed while I was in the military, and went out there and just did it. I just got it done. That's what we do when we wear the uniform. We learn how to just get it done. And we learn how to get it done on our own. But that's not the most efficient, effective, productive, smart way for an entrepreneur to start a business. Not when all of these free resources are available. I mean, absolutely free. And so today what we're doing is there are 31 veteran business outreach centers. We cover every military installation across the U.S. with the Booster Business program in that transition assistance program for the Department of Defense. We teach these courses through Reboot off the base in and around those communities that don't have access to the military installation, even outside the continental U.S., in Germany and in Korea and in Italy and other places where U.S. military has a presence and folks are transitioning out of the military. We do outreach programs. We partner side by side with the SCORE, SBDC, and Women's Business Center. They provide their services to everyone who's interested in being a small business. And in that audience of everyone are some veterans, right? anywhere from 3 to 10% of the audience that they are working with are veterans, and they don't know that there's some unique veteran resources. For example, one of the resources that we have as a Veterans Business Outreach Center is there's a program called Veterans in Procurement. It's in Montgomery County, Virginia. And I guess it's Virginia. It's in the DC area, but right outside in Montgomery County, they offer a 4-day workshop where veterans can go and actually sit across the table from the federal agencies who are signing all these contracts and making all these contract decisions. And it's an absolutely free course. SCORE doesn't necessarily know how to get veterans to that course. SBDC doesn't know how to get them there. And Women's Business Center doesn't know how to get them there. The VBOC, the Veterans Business Outreach Center, we have that unique knowledge of how to get veterans in that contracting space and to get that unique contracting training. The Veterans in Procurement Program, VIP, run by a young lady by the name of Barbara Ash, has 4 different levels in that training. They have a basic training, they have an advanced training, they have an international training, and now they even have a commercial training to train folks how to get contracts with private companies like T-Mobile and American Airlines and other private companies who do large contracts and so forth.
So if you have a veteran out there right now that's thinking, man, this is like exactly what I'm looking for, what would you suggest that they do immediately?
So if you're a veteran out there right now and you're thinking about being self-employed or you're thinking about starting your own business, the best website in the world for small businesses is SBA.gov. Right. So start there. Start at SBA.gov. Look at all of the different resources that are available, period, through SBA.gov. And for you as a veteran, specifically go to SBAvets.force.com. SBAvets, VETS.force, FORCE.com. Go to SBAvets.force.com. That's where the Boost to Business program, that's the Boost to Business website. And click on, if you're a veteran and you're already out, click on the Boost to Business reboot calendar and find a reboot in your area. If you're still on active duty, then go to the Boost to Business calendar and find it there. But better yet, if you're on active duty, just contact your transition assistance manager and say, hey, this is the path that I want to take a look at. This is the course that I want to look at.
Okay, then tell me about your journey, though, because you're a business owner. Like you said, you came out, you bought your fitness gym in California, right? So tell us about your journey and what led you to do the kind of work you're doing now, because really you're contracting with the Small Business Administration to actually deliver
That's correct.
these services to veterans here. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so not only am I contracted to deliver these courses through the Boost to Business program with the Small Business Administration, but I'm also the founder of a national conference known as the Business Beyond the Battlefield Conference. Okay. It's my belief and my passion that every last one of us have worn a uniform. We've been in business since the beginning of time, and our business was to protect the American way of life on the battlefields all around the world. That was our business. Now, whether we protected America's way of life because we sat behind a desk or we protected America's way of life actually in a foxhole somewhere, we all had that same mission to protect the American way of life. Well, we were all service-minded individuals, and we're still service-minded individuals. So we're still protecting the American way of life as business owners. So I call it business beyond the battlefield. We're not long. Our new battlefield is the business battlefield.
Okay.
And this conference, every year, it happens in October, and it happens in Arlington, Texas, which is sort of the center of the country, making it easy for folks to come from the West Coast to get there and from the East Coast to get here. But the bottom line is it brings together all of the resources that we've been talking about. SCORE is there, SBDC is there, Women's Business Center is there. SBA lending partners are all there. We have keynote speakers. We have breakout sessions, and the breakout sessions are taught in tracks. We have a basic training track for those folks who are just kicking tires and wanting to get started and want to get in that elementary education. Then we have an advanced individual track for those who are already in business, and maybe they have some tax concerns or they have some human resources concerns, some higher level business owners concerns. And we have breakout sessions on those tracks. And then we have contracting track for those who are looking to expand their business by winning government contracts. I just got a report from one of my directors at my Veterans Business Outreach Center in Nevada. They have a client that just won a $100,500 contract with the Department of the Navy and so forth. This is the type of stuff that we do. And you get a chance to meet up to 300 to 400 veteran-owned businesses and military spouse business owners at Business Beyond the Battlefield Conference in October every year. So that's part of my journey. And it's because I'm passionate about this. And I want to be very clear about this passion. I want to help folks to recognize and understand that veterans are more than their incapacities. What we have is not who we are.
Right.
I'm a disabled veteran. I have a disability, but I am not a disabled veteran, right? What I have is not who I am. And too often what we find is the community, the narrative at large is everything's focused on the veteran's incapacity. We got great resources, great tools, great information, and great funding to support veteran mental disabilities, whether it's PTSD or traumatic brain injury or whatever else is going on, those silent wounds of war.
Yeah.
We've got great resources to support veterans that have physical incapacities, whether they're missing a limb or whatever the other physical challenge is that they have. We even have great resources and funding to support folks that have food insecurities or maybe some homelessness or so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that's a small part of the veteran population. It's important, right? It's critically important. I wouldn't take anything away from it, but you get in life what you focus on. And if all we focus on is veteran incapacity, then we get more incapacity.
Yeah. And
right?
also there's not enough resources to solve that problem anyway.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
What we'll find, though, if we begin to focus on veteran capacity, then we'll get more veteran capacity. Right? You get what it is that you focus on. Veterans solve their own problems, right?
Yeah.
And so you would have the nation and governmental entities would have an opportunity, and even philanthropists and corporations could spend less on social service. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to cut back any of that budgeting.
Right.
They won't have to work as hard supporting social services because social services will be supported by the veteran businesses themselves.
Right. Businesses, yeah.
I mean, who started Disabled American Veterans? It was a veteran, the DAV. Who started American Legion? Another veteran service organization. It was a veteran. Who started Wounded Warriors?
Yeah.
It was a veteran. Veterans look and they take care of one another. They take care of themselves and so forth. If we can if we can change our focus and begin to focus on veteran capacity and focus on those veterans who are able to grow the economy in communities where they live and serve, those same veterans, when they grow the economy where they live and serve, they will reach out and start nonprofits and start other organizations to help their own community. They will start to help the veterans in their community.
So I'm glad you brought that up because we were talking earlier about what is the one thing that you find is a need for entrepreneurs and veteran entrepreneurs specifically,
right,
to be successful in building their businesses. And you were talking about leadership.
Absolutely. The question you asked about, you had originally made a comment about this belief that businesses fail because of lack of capital. And I chimed in on that comment. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's truly the case. I believe, I'm a fan and a follower and I get mentored by one of the top leadership gurus in the world, Dr. John Maxwell, who wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But in addition to that book, he coined this phrase that everything rises and falls on leadership. And I truly believe that everything rises and falls on leadership, including your business. Your business didn't fail because of lack of capital. Your business failed because your leadership didn't know how to structure your business or communicate your value proposition in such a way that folks would give you capital or that you could access the capital. The business didn't fail because the market changed. The business failed because your leadership didn't foresee the change in the market and make the necessary adjustments. And I give this example, for example, Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster didn't fail because of a lack of capital. Blockbuster failed because the leadership didn't take advantage of the research and the information that was available to them. Netflix apparently had a conversation directly with Blockbuster. You give Blockbuster first right of refusal to say, hey, do you want to partner with us? Do you want to collaborate with us? Do you want to take advantage of this new technology and let's stream this content to the marketplace? Yeah. And Blockbuster kind of raised their hands and said, you know what? We like what we're doing. We're going to build some more blue and yellow brick buildings.
We're stick to our old way of thinking,
we
right?
can keep doing it the way we're doing it. And as a result, you see there are no blockbusters today.
Yeah.
Well, that's not because of a lack of capital. That's because leadership made some decisions that didn't keep track with the entrepreneurial model. The entrepreneurial model says identify the opportunity in the marketplace. In other words, figure out what problem there is in the marketplace and come up with a solution to that problem. And Blockbuster went off of that model, that program of utilizing the research, identifying the opportunity and developing a problem according to this new opportunity. So leadership is absolutely critical. And that's the thing that makes a serviceman or woman, a veteran, more likely to be successful in business. The data shows, and I think FranNet, an organization, an association of franchises across the nation.
Okay, yeah.
They're really fond of veterans, and one of the reasons they're fond of veterans is, one, veterans know how to follow a standard operating procedure. You can put a manual in their hand and they know how to follow the manual. Yeah. And that's literally what a franchise is. It's a business in a box that says, if you follow this is how you do it, right? That's how it works. Right. But the data shows that veterans who own franchises generate 2 to 5 times more revenue than folks who don't. Mm-hmm. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they come to the franchise community with leadership skills. They come to the franchise community with team building skills. They come to the franchise community with problem solving skills. They come to the franchise community with the discipline to be able to follow these procedures and so on and so forth. Discipline, going back to leadership. The highest form of leadership is self-leadership. Oh, self-leadership is self-discipline. Yeah. That's what we carry when we come out of the military, the ability to discipline ourselves and lead ourselves to get stuff done.
Well, let me ask you this then, because you came out, opened up a fitness center in California.
I did.
Now you're here running, VBOC. Yeah. So tell me about the transition and why are you so passionate about this?
The passion comes from my own pain. When I purchased this gymnasium in Hollywood, California, because I didn't tap into the SBA resources, mainly because I wasn't aware, but because I didn't tap into the SBA resources, I made some mistakes that I didn't have to make had I tapped into the SBA resources and the Resource Partner Network. Right. And as a result, and the best example that I can give from that story is the owner who sold me that gym withheld some information from me. And this was back in 1991. What he didn't tell me was the streets in front of my gymnasium were getting ready to go through a major 24-month overhaul. Wow. Well, see, had I gone through the SBA Resource Partner Network, I would have surrounded myself with a Bell team, some advisors who would have talked to me more about how to do more due diligence, where I would have been able to uncover that information. Had I joined the Chamber of Commerce, you can bet all the other small businesses in that area
would have told you.
They would have told me. They were having conversations about how they were going to survive this street shutdown. But it was that failure of that business right there that created this initial passion in me that said, you know what? I can't do this alone next time, right? There's got to be some resources out here and some things that I can do or some folks that I can connect to keep me from making even that small, simple mistake, so on and so forth. And then I joined here in the state of Texas. I was part of the foundational program called the Texas Veterans Commission Veteran Entrepreneur Program. That's Texas, the state of Texas version of the SBA for of the VBOC. Okay. That's Texas's version of the VBOC, called the Veteran Entrepreneur Program. It was a small group of us whose job was to go out and let veterans in Texas know about all of the programs and resources that were available in Texas to help your business get up and running. At that time, there was a Veterans Business Outreach Center powered by the U.S. Small Business Administration down in South Texas at University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. They were covering the entire state of Texas. That was in 2000, I guess, about 12 to 15. And in 2015, I volunteered to speak in their programs. They were teaching these classes, and I started speaking in their programs. Well, in 2015, the SBA came out with a new funding announcement saying we'd like to put a VBOC, Veterans Business Outreach Center, in North Texas. I bid for that funding opportunity, and I won that funding opportunity to open a VBOC in North Texas.
Okay.
And now my VBOC covers North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Nevada. And in Nevada, we have 2 VBOCs. We have one in Las Vegas covering Nellis Air Force Base in and around that community. And then we have one up in Reno, Nevada at University of Nevada, Reno, covering Naval Air Station Fallon and northern Nevada.
Okay.
And so forth. But that passion just really comes from, I don't want to see folks do what I did. I don't want to see these 50,000 veterans walking out of the military every year who say they want to be self-employed and they just shoot from the hip. They just go off of their own leadership and their knowledge, because the brain that you use in the military is only part of the brain that you need to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
The other part of that brain is surrounding yourself with all of these amazing resources that the SBA has made available to you.
Well, man, you're preaching the same thing that we preach here, that nothing of significance can ever be done alone.
That's correct.
Right. And not only do we want people to have hope that they can achieve whatever they envision, and we want to inspire them to be disciplined and consistent in their action, education is key.
Absolutely.
But it's not enough.
Yeah.
Right. You need to have relationships. You need to build those trusting relationships now with professionals and, business. No matter what kind of business you're in a relationship business. Right.
Yes, indeed.
And so that's critically important. So I see where your passion comes from, man.
Yeah. And to your point, going back to leadership, is what we try to help our entrepreneurs and our veterans understand is, so many folks work on the technical skills necessary for their business, but it's the leadership skills that are critical. John Maxwell and his laws, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, has what he called the law of the lid. And the law of the lid says that your leadership level is the lid on your business capacity. It's the lid on your individual and your professional capacity. So if you are a level 3 leader, your business will be nothing more than a level 3 business. There are no level 10 businesses being led by level 3 leaders.
Right.
If you want to lead a level 10 business, you have to become a level 10 leader.
And you would do the kind of things.
Exactly.
You would set up the kind of systems. Right?
Exactly.
Oh my
So
God.
so what we try to do is we try to help our entrepreneurs understand the importance of working on themselves and developing themselves, because you have to grow and improve and prosper for your business to grow and improve and prosper. Again, that's why corporations around the world find new leaders. That's why they fire and hire new CEOs, because this CEO's capacity to grow the business to this level was right here. And that's the best that this CEO could do for this business. Let's get a new CEO with this level of capacity and this level of leadership, and they can raise our business to that level of leadership. Where in your small business, that's you. That's you recognizing that either you've got to bring a CEO in and a COO in, a chief operating officer in, who has that level of capacity to take your business to the next level, or you have to become that CEO or that chief operating officer with that capacity to bring your business up to that level. So it really is. And so in our Business Beyond the Battlefield conference, we partner with John Maxwell every year to deliver specific leadership training and to help folks to become better leaders. We do leadership training throughout the year, along with our technical training. We talk about taxes for business. We talk about processes for business. We talk about HR. We talk about contract. We talk about the general stuff, the everyday stuff, the marketing and the publicity and the product development, all of that. But we also talk about leadership and things that you need to know as a business owner to grow yourself so that you can grow your business.
So we talked about VBOC, but there's the Business Outreach Center that you work out of the University of Texas at Arlington at. So that's for everyone.
That's correct.
So talk a little bit about that, and then we want to make sure that if people are catching your passion right now, they know how to get in touch with you.
So one thing is the University of Texas at Arlington has been ranked as the top school, the top university for veterans for years. I mean, I've been there since 2015 at the University of Texas at Arlington, and we were ranked somewhere in the top 12, and then we ranked in the top 6 and the top 5. And then we spent several years as the #1 university in America for veterans and so forth, because they have so many resources and so many tools to help veterans matriculate through their degree program and to move forward in the next phase of their life and so forth. And so my office is located in the College of Business at the University of Texas at Arlington. And so we've been blessed. We have a dean there in the College of Business who's sold out into our mission. And he's given us the capacity to do the things that we do. The university has a Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology Development. It's a center that's designed to take new technologies that businesses are developing and get research support behind them at the university and vice versa. Research and technologies that are being developed in the university, how do we get those out to the businesses in the community so that they can be executed and used upon and begin to generate dollars and so forth. So we have that. But my office, the Business Outreach Center, oversees programs that are powered by outside agencies through the university, and particularly through the university's research department. So the Veterans Business Outreach Center is a program. It's not an entity. It's a program that's paid for and funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. That program runs through the research department at the University of Texas at Arlington, where I run that program. And it's the Business Outreach Center where I am, where we have, right now we have the two programs. We have the Veterans Business Outreach Center, Nevada Veterans Business Outreach Center, which has the two locations in Nevada. And then we have the UTA Veterans Business Outreach Center, which runs the program in North Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, and so forth. And we're constantly looking for other opportunities to provide technical assistance, education, and training for folks who are interested in starting a business. Through the College of Business, all of these courses are offered and so forth, and we connect our veterans to those courses, and we connect the community to those courses. Through the Veterans Business Outreach Center, our focus and our target audience is veterans, obviously, and folks who've worn the uniform, but the university itself, through the College of Business, has a slew of different degree programs, all the way up to the PhD level. We collect data through our program on veteran and the veteran transition into entrepreneurship and make that available through the College of Business for professors who might be interested in doing some research on veteran transition into entrepreneurship. But it's a great program. It's a great resource for us.
So if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
University of Texas at Arlington, College of Business, the Veterans Business Outreach Center. We can be found on the UTA website at uta.edu/VBOC. That's uta.edu/Victor Bravo Oscar Charlie, Veterans Business Outreach Center, so forth.
Are you a LinkedIn person?
I'm a LinkedIn person. You can find me on LinkedIn at Patrick E. Alcorn, MBA, Patrick E. Alcorn, MBA. If you leave the E out, then you're going to get my son. He's a high school football coach and paramedic in California. So if you get my son if you leave the E out. But if you put the E in, Patrick E. Alcorn, MBA, you'll be able to reach me on LinkedIn.
Man, you dropped a lot of knowledge. Yeah. Man, right. You had to get it out, though, right? So we can talk forever, but your closing comments, right? The one message that you have for veterans out there who are watching this, and let's say they're just catching the tail end of it, what would that message be for them?
The primary message that I like to leave, not only with our veterans, but the community that are serving their veterans, and that's this. There are 42,000 veteran service organizations that are out there, or maybe more, that are serving veterans in their incapacity and focused on veterans in their incapacity. And I want to remind you that veterans are more than their incapacities. Veterans are leaders. Veterans are problem solvers. Veterans are critical thinkers. Veterans are team builders. Veterans are not just individuals who have served, but veterans are individuals who continue to serve in a business beyond the battlefield. They literally do. They're out here. They've got these phenomenal businesses. FedEx started by a veteran. Chick-fil-A founded by a veteran. I can just go on and on and on. Remax started by a veteran. Waffle House started by a veteran. Walmart started by a veteran. Sam Walton himself was a soldier in the United States Army. And we can go on and on. All of these businesses were started by veterans. Veterans had the capacity to grow the economy and communities where they live and serve. For you as a veteran, I would encourage you to not spend as much energy focusing on your incapacity and the challenges that came about you because of your time in the military, but spent more time and effort communicating your capacity to grow the economy and continue to protect America's way of life by owning a business beyond the battlefield.
Boom, drop the mic.
Awesome.
We're good, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate you.
Hey, I just want to thank you, man, because I know you're busy with your scheduling, your time, so I'm glad a window of time opened up for us to have this conversation and for you to drop the knowledge to the Empower Series community. I want to thank you for watching, though, because you spent the most precious resource you have, which is your time, watching this. So don't just let this go to waste. Take action on this, right? Share this with somebody else who's a veteran. That if you're not a veteran, if you are a veteran, I expect you to connect with the Empower Series, connect with Patrick, connect with someone in your organization to find out more, or in your city to find out more about what resources are available to help you increase your leadership game, right? And continue to serve, because we need your service. Get in touch with us at the Empower Series by emailing me at thrive@empowerseries.com. You can go to our website, www.empowerseries.com, and give us your contact information so you can be informed of what's coming up next. You can hit survey in the top right-hand corner and let us know your feedback so we can create greater programs for you that are going to help empower you, inspire you to thrive. Then also, if you want to donate to us, you can hit donate in the top left-hand corner. You can also text give or donate to 214-225-6337. That's 214-225-6337. I want to thank you again for your time. Until we meet again, be empowered and inspired to thrive.